Hi, hello and welcome. And I want to talk to you about the full moon that's happening on the eve of the 7th. It's going to start taking shape on the 8th of December. And it's going to be a really interesting full moon. And this full moon is all about our relationships, particularly family relationships and the sacrifices that we're making. And we all do make sacrifices for family, and it's important that we do that. But it's important that the sacrifices that we make are understood and we understand what those sacrifices are and why we're making them. Now, that's very different to knowing that your family appreciates the sacrifices you're making. And whether that family be close family or whether that family be by blood or by choice, we still have these relationships with family we need to sort out. So what came out in the crystals is interesting, because I pulled out one lot and then another lot fell out, so doubled up. I pulled out the throat chakra, and then I pulled out the sacral chakra, which is to do with relationships and family, and it's also got to do with self-limiting beliefs. And then the other two that fell out was another throat and another sacral. So what does it mean to get two? It means pay attention. We're doubling down. This is really, really important for us to understand and to get clear. So let's talk a little bit about the astrology first, and then let's do the tarot cards. And I've already pulled them out, just to save a bit of time. And because I find it easier to concentrate on the cards when the video is not going. So that's what the cards are about. And I'll post the cards as well on the Facebook site, so you can have a look at the cards and you can also check out the video. You'll get everything. Just wait 1 minute. Okay, we've got some interesting couplings of planets and moons, and I find all that really quite fascinating because we've got Mars and Luna. Now, they've been hanging about together for a long time, and Mars is in retrograde. And Mars is all about communication. Luna is all about what's hidden and about healing. And those two have been hanging out. And I find that fascinating that they keep hanging out together even though Mars is in retrograde. So this is saying we're going over old ground. And with families, there tends to be a little bit of repetition, doesn't there? So that makes a lot of sense. Then what happens is, now that's all happening in Gemini. And Gemini is all about siblings. And it's all about relationships, and it's also all about how we heal and understand ourselves within that environment of other people who are close to us. Then we get Venus and Mercury still hanging out together. And what's interesting about Venus and Mercury, because Venus is about how we love, Mercury is about how we communicate that love. Actually, yeah, that's what it's about. And that's hanging out in the cusp of Sagittarius, which has got to do with spirituality, and Capricorn, which has got to do with work. But it's more than just work. It's how we live, what we do, and how we understand ourselves. So it's interesting that the way that we love and the way that we communicate about this love and the intensity with which we do that is in the cusp of Sagittarius and Capricorn, which is about spirituality. It's the house of spirituality. That's Sagittarius and the house of work. So it's saying to us that we need to understand the elements of both spiritually, how we relate to our relationship with families, and particularly coming up with Christmas, and how we understand those relationships and how we communicate about those relationships. And it's actually saying we need to understand that not just from a spiritual sense, which is what we often experience at Christmas, whether we're religious or not. There's a lot of spiritual aspects about Christmas, and we've been brought up in that tradition. Even if we've rejected religion, we've still been brought up in the culture of religion, so it's important to grasp. And it's about how that impacts on us in how we understand and live that spirituality and that connection to our family. And then the other cusp, which has been going on also for a really long time, is Jupiter and Neptune. Jupiter, as you know, is the teacher, and Neptune is about dreams and intuition. And it's on the cusp of Aries, which is about the house of self, and Pisces, which is the house of healing and sacrifice. So this is about understanding what we do to ourselves at Christmas. The pressures we put ourselves under, the repeating patterns that we have of our family and our relationships, and getting a lot more comfortable with that. Because Christmas is a lot of pressure. It's a lot of pressure to do the right thing, and not just do the right thing, but to be seen, to be doing the right thing. And it is absolutely shoved down our face with enormous vigour. So there's a lot of myths and legends around what our Christmas experience should be, and they contrast quite starkly with the realities of what our Christmas experience actually is. And this is asking us to not be afraid about those things and to delve into it a little bit more and to understand it more so we don't have all of those triggers. And that's what this full moon is about. Now, interestingly enough, the background for the tarot card reading, and I'm going to interpret the cards within the context of what we're talking about. So we've got the Six of Swords. The Six is normally a time of being quite comfortable, but this is actually, as you can see from the swords heading up the mountain, the people heading up the mountain, this is actually saying it's time to really go forward on the path you're on. It's take a leap of faith, if you like. So that's the background, that's the context. What do we get? Well, we lead with the High Priestess. The High Priestess is telling us, use your intuition, trust your intuition, and it's at play, so really listen to it and trust it. That's your instincts, for those of us who are not sure what that is. That's that little voice that says, stop here, I think this could be interesting. And you stop and you go in, and in the shop is exactly what you're looking for. That's it. Then we get the Hierophant. And you see the person is in a triangle, or in this case it's actually outside of the pyramid. And what this one is saying is the Hierophant is all about traditions and constraints and values. Now, there's nothing inherently wrong with traditions. There's nothing inherently wrong with constraints. We all need them. We can't just run out and do whatever we want to do whenever we want to do. But this is actually asking us to make considered choices about those constraints and trust our intuition about how we interpret them and how we see them. And then after that we get the Knight of Pentacles. This is talking about us creating a new beginning for how we understand our life and how we want to be in our life. And it's just reminding you that a lot of the things that we want to do and want to change, it is going to take work to do it. But don't be afraid of that road towards achieving what you want to achieve. But as it is Christmas and we're always in a heightened state, I'm going to tell you to take things slowly. And that's what the Knights are about. They're about considered decision-making and considered movement. And this is considered decision-making and movement about how we're living our life. And that's what I want you to be thinking about, and that's what I want you to be taking. Yes, there's intuition. Yes, intuition asks us to act a little bit spontaneously, but we've got considerations with the fact that there are a lot of constraints and a lot of traditions. So we're being asked to temper that and just move forward with full consideration. So take the intuition, then think about it, and take the consideration from there. Ten of Cups, beautiful card. And in this deck, the Ten of Cups is just saying to you, you are loved. You are unbelievably loved. And while you may not feel that that love is completely reciprocated at all times from within the family and the extended family, you are completely and utterly loved. Now, just remember with family, not everyone knows how to love. Not everyone knows how to demonstrate love, and surely not everyone knows how to demonstrate love in a way that other people understand and can reciprocate. So just bear that in mind to the lead up. And then we've got the 10 of Pentacles. And the 10 of Pentacles is saying, basically, think about Atlas holding up the world. You are really capable of doing this work. You are actually capable of taking on a little bit extra, but be very careful and considered about what you take on, and make sure you've thought it through, yeah, and make sure you're doing it for all the right reasons. And the last card, which I really love to end with, is the 9 of Pentacles. The 9 is a wish card. Pentacles is how you live your life. And this is saying to us, you are living in an opportunity for great abundance. It's the eagle in the sky. It's Bunjil. Bunjil is the creator. In many, many Indigenous communities, the eagle is the creator, Bunjil being the Southern Victorian Indigenous populations, creator god, pronounced Bunjil. I think it might be pronounced other ways, and if I'm mispronouncing it, my humble apologies. But this is about go forth and create, and we are with you. You can create a new abundance if that's what you want, but don't be held back about people's and your misconceptions about how to be loved and what love is. Because you are loved beyond all. This is unconditional love. This is love in abundance. Okay. Throat chakra talks about having conversations, doubling up. And you need to have these conversations. This talks about family. And this talks about, in some ways, self-limiting beliefs about family. And what they're saying to you is, have conversations with yourself first, so that you clear in your head about what is the internal monologue that you're running about your life and about Christmas and about your relationships with family and friends and what this means for you. And it's going to mean different things to different people. Just be really comfortable with that. Stop putting enormous pressure on Christmas and you at Christmas and your family at Christmas. And this talks about family. And this also talks a little bit about some self-limiting beliefs about family. And if you have an okay time at Christmas, I think that's enough. If you enjoy Christmas, that's also enough. We didn't all grow up in magical families. We don't all exist in magical families. And at different times in life, members of our family go through enormous stress, illness, unhealthy, and that impacts on us. And we might be going through the same, and that impacts on them. So just be generous. Be generous with self. Be compassionate with self. Be compassionate with others. And start building something new for yourself around how you experience and enjoy yourself and your family. And be really aware of the sacrifices you make and understand that you are choosing to make those sacrifices. That's your choice. So don't expect other people to necessarily see or understand that that's what you're doing. And don't expect other people to necessarily appreciate that's what you're doing. Because you are the one choosing to make the sacrifices, not them. Okay. And remember, everyone makes sacrifices in families and especially at Christmas time because it's a tough gig. Okay. That's it. That's the full moon. Be kind to yourself. Be kind to others. And find the love and let the love light the way. Okay. Bye-bye.